keeping southwest Oklahoma safe during severe weather. This is the Texoma Weather Lab.
Well, welcome in, folks. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Everybody is hunkering down for tonight. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Bowling. Thanks for hopping in for this winter weather edition of the Texoma Weather Lab as we continue to break down the timeline for what we can expect as we head through the overnight hours, the morning drive, if you have to still go to work. I know a lot of the districts have either gone virtual or they have straight up canceled. There are several that are also going early release tomorrow as well. So make sure you check with your kids or your students' respective district page to check and see when they'll be releasing or if they are even going at all. Too long for me personally to list off here. I know specifically for LPS that they are off tomorrow. The staff still has to go there for a half day. But again, check with your students and your kids' respective pages to check out that. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the timeline, what we can expect tonight, most of the weekend, how totals are looking, and then we've got some extreme cold, not to be messed around with, not to be forgotten in all of this. Once this all falls and is gone by Sunday morning, yeah, we still have temperatures that could be below zero for actual lows coming up here for Monday morning. So just keep that in mind. I know a lot of districts either gone virtual or canceled here for Friday, but we're looking even at the possibility that this extends all the way into Monday and possibly even into Tuesday as well. So just keep that in mind. That not made any decisions on that just yet. We obviously have to see how Friday, Saturday, early Sunday play out, but with temperatures that cold, we're likely going to see things sticking around for a handful of days. So hopefully you've gotten what you need. You're hunkered down, ready to go, and prepared for what could be quite a bit of ice, sleet, and snow coming down different chunks throughout the time. Amber, I'm not even going to try your last name. I apologize. So thank you very much for updating us with accurate information. You know, with model runs continually coming in, things constantly updating, it's very easy to jump the gun on every single one of these. And, well, now I need to trim that back, or I need to move that back, or I need to add this up, and just trying to keep things as consistent as possible. Again, I've made a couple of changes here and there throughout the last couple of days, but I think I've held fairly steady, except for moving things up a couple of days ago. But again, we're going to be in that battleground area where 1 to 2 degrees of temperature change above our heads changes it from freezing rain to sleet to snow. So again, that's how fickle the atmosphere is. So let's go and get right into it. You probably are tired of hearing enough of me. You want to know what's coming up here. So again, thanks to the folks from Coast Technology Group that continue to support the page as we continue to keep things updated here. We're also going to be on with the Town Square Media folks throughout this time as well. So if there's any updates or information that needs to be passed along, Jerry, my good friend, radio, Eric K-Law, and Z94 and Pop Crush 107.3 will have my updates throughout that day as well. And if we need to do any more coverage than that, we'll work that out with those folks. But again, they're going to be keeping my coverage going throughout that time as well. Troy Taylor, hopefully we're getting things worked out there with folks in Texas. The good neighbor himself, Vincent Saylor, one of our good sponsors here at the Texoma Weather Lab. Thank you, sir, for everything you do to support this and make this what it is, the free resource for everybody to get that crucial, critical, life-saving planning information that you need as we prepare for some big-time winter weather. Gayla, appreciate what you do. Thank you, guys. I appreciate all the support. Again, as you've probably seen, first time topping 1 million views just within the last month. So again, it wouldn't have happened without you folks. I appreciate that. So Rick, thank you. It wouldn't be a show without Rick Diaz hopping in here. So appreciate that. So we're going to start here with a look at the state. There's nothing going on right now. There's a blanket of clouds. Temperatures, for the most part, you've got up here in the northwest part of the state, you're starting to see temperatures down in the 30s. The rest of the state is mid and upper 40s. So you're like, This feels really balmy. Like we're not dealing with winter weather just yet, but the cold is up there. It's up into Kansas, and that's going to continue to plunge south as we head through the rest of tonight. Now, just want to show you the expanse of what this looks like. It's not just us here in Southwest Oklahoma and much of Oklahoma that's going to be contending with this. You back this out, and let me get these numbers off of here so it's a little bit easier to see. I mean, this is wide ranging. Look at the winter storm warnings. That's the pink from the mountains of New Mexico, most of Texas, most of Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, and all these blue all the way into the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast are watches. So out ahead of this. And then you see ice storm warnings down here in Mississippi and Alabama. So most of the U.S. and most of the population going to be feeling some impact from this storm system. So it's not just us. So you probably, if you've got family in other states, they are also going to be dealing with this too. So you want to know what the timeline looks like here. So let's go ahead and get into that. Let me get off the radar here and let me get into the models and let's see what we've got. And again, I want you to get the most up-to-date information to help you make your plan for the next little while. So again, for tonight, really not expecting much to be falling. Now, we're going to step ahead here, and I'm going to zoom this in just a little bit more so you see the state of Oklahoma here. Continue to zoom ahead. Here's after midnight. That's 3, 4, 5. So through sunrise, you do start to see some light, wet precipitation. So I think temperatures, again, likely to be mid-30s starting out, heading out first thing in the morning. All of this light, showery activity. Again, all it takes is a degree or two difference colder, and this is all freezing rain. But this is all going to be liquid to start heading out the door first thing in the morning. And gradually, as we go into, as we approach, this is late morning lunchtime. Here's at noon, you start to see that cold air continues to spill south, and we're starting to see more of the freezing rain and sleet taking place here across Southwest Oklahoma. So the purplish color right here is your pink purple color right here is going to be your freezing rain. Your peach color up here is going to be more of your sleet. So you can still see for areas around Jefferson, Love, Carter counties, Murray, Garvin, over towards Ada, Southeast Oklahoma. That's still rain. Here at lunchtime, I know we have some of the teachers here at LPS that are going to be let out at noon. Some other school districts are going to be coming up on it here at 1 or 2 o'clock for them. Again, check your students' respective pages for those virtual days, closures, or early releases. Again, too many individual districts to count here. Go check with your students' page to see what the status is for school. Likely you already know heading into tomorrow. So this is lunchtime. We're starting to see it change over to more of that freezing rain and sleet for a good chunk of the western half of the area I track. So west of I-44. So Altus, Hobart, Mangum, Sayre, Eric, Cordell, all seeing that wintry mix. As we go into, this is the drive home. Likely to see more sleet. And again, this is all going to be a battleground area, right? Right in here is going to be this battleground zone where temperatures going up or temperatures going down are going to play a big role in what type of precipitation we see. If we see more sleet, that's obviously going to eat into eventual snowfall totals. Again, sleet is just going to eat away from fluffier snow. Again, sleet is just frozen raindrops, basically. I mean, that's what it is. When you turn that water into snow, you're able to get more from it. You actually see anywhere from 8 times as much snow as liquid equivalent. So we use ratios like that. So you usually see a lot more snow from the same amount of liquid. And if you get that, it's sleet. It's just that drop. It's just frozen. You're not getting much more snow out of it. So it's going to eat away at some of those snowfall totals. So right now we are still watching for mainly this sleet event that's going to come through during the afternoon here for Friday. So really, let me delete this again and just show you again as I back out just a little bit more. So we really see after lunchtime and through the afternoon, you start to see a lot of that sleet continuing to fill in. There's 4, 5, and 6. Still way down towards the south, like Thackerville is still looking at mainly rain. Durant is still looking at rain, but much of southwest Oklahoma looking at sleet, freezing rain, some snowflakes mixed in. So it's just going to be a mixed bag throughout the day here on Friday. So just a gross day. And again, I would much rather see this fall as snow, but we just can never seem to go straight snow with these events. You just know every single time we start out with freezing rain and sleet. So that's going to lay the base for the roads to continue to go downhill. If this is sleet, it doesn't matter really how warm the roads are. Again, the roads are right in the 50s the past few days. You get enough sleet to pile up, then you're right at freezing because you've got frozen sleet pellets. And then it just packs down, the car's driving over it, and that's just going to be a solid sheet of ice. So, again, Bone, the man, the myth, the legend. Yes, sir. Bone is in the house. Just doing our job, trying to make sure we keep folks safe here. Make sure everybody gets to where they need to, or at least knows what they need to make the right decisions. Samantha's asking, what are you thinking about power outages in southern Grady County? I think, and I'll show you the ice accumulation here in just a second. So I would assume you're talking Rush. I wouldn't think too much there. The further north you go, I'm thinking less and less ice. So if it was a little bit closer to Anadarko, Chickasha, Oklahoma City, I'd say you've got a pretty decent chance at avoiding the power outages. And further south you go towards Durant, Idabel, McAllister, down around, let's say, Marietta. Those areas are going to see quite a bit of freezing rain tomorrow. And I would think that power outages will be more likely down there closer to the Red River. So I think there may be some sporadic power outages there, Samantha, in southern Grady County, and that would include Cotton and Jefferson, Garvin, Love counties. We need to be watching out for those locations as well. But again, I'm hopeful that we see a bit more on the way of the sleet side to avoid the power issues. But again, it's like to see more snow to avoid much of the travel issues. But again, we're going to get the mixed bag for much of the afternoon. And then again, as we go through the night, I think a lot of this pink is going to be more sleet and snow mix. So again, this is wave 1. So this is going to come as a 1-2 punch here. So we're going to see the wintry mix of sleet and snow continuing through Friday night into Saturday morning. So here's about what we see. There's about sunrise and then 9 a.m. So you see that first wave is starting to taper off. It might not go completely dry, but there will be a let up, a noticeable backing off of the precipitation as we go into Saturday mid to late morning. So there's going to be a drop off. I think all the models are starting to show either it dialing back or it drying up completely for this late morning, middle of the day time period. So as we step forward here, you see it back off through the afternoon, and then it's the evening hours that we really start to see the snow give us that one last hurrah here. And it's going to come down pretty heavily at times. So here is, you start to see probably close to 7 or 8. It starts to spread into western Oklahoma. Start to see that snow around Beckham County, Greer, Harmon County. It's going to start coming down pretty hard at times. You start to see some of these yellow colors. That's some pretty intense bands of snow that'll be coming down here. So again, driving, it's already going to be difficult enough Friday afternoon and evening. You really don't want to be doing any more driving Kyle Carr, you always catch me off guard here. Mexico sounds better. Yes, it does. Right about now. Much rather be dealing with the warm than this. So again, we continue to see that snow filling in after dark. So really western Oklahoma, so Hobart, Mangum, Altus, Hollis, Sayre, around 7 to 9, we see that spreading in. The rest of us are starting to see the sleet and snow pick back up again. And then as we head into the overnight hours, you can see all of that snow, and it just kind of stops right there. So this snow is going to stay all snow as we go into sunrise on Sunday. Good luck getting out of the airport if you're trying to get to your Mexico trip. That window is closing fast. So again, this snow, and again, as far as I'm able to take this model, it's stopping at 3 a.m. This snow is going to continue through about 8 or 9 o'clock on Sunday morning. So just adding another layer, you've got freezing rain, you've got sleet that is now compacted and frozen, and now you've got snow, several inches of snow stacking up on top of there. But again, it's still this area right in here, right along I-40 and just barely to the south, that is going to be the battleground for, do we see more ice or do we see more snow? And again, if you see more ice, it's obviously going to cut down on the amount of snow that you see. So I'm going to back off of this for a second. I'm going to go back to my maps that I have here just to give you an idea of what our totals are going to look like. And I've made some minor adjustments to these. Okay. So let me make this full screen. Okay. There you go. So with the freezing rain and the drizzle that's going to be coming in here through the late morning and the midday hours, they're looking at a glaze, western Oklahoma, northwest Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, right along the entire length of I-40 is where we're seeing that. Nan hopping in here, may have missed it. Will the roads be slick by noon tomorrow? Depends. If you are north of Highway 62, I think the roads will begin to get slick. So if you're in Carnegie, Anadarko, Hobart, Cordell, Hinton, El Reno, Sayre, Greer County, you may start to see the road conditions going south in a hurry at noon tomorrow. Lawton's going to be right about there. We're going to start seeing that freezing precipitation falling. And again, some of the bridges are going to be the first to go downhill, sidewalks too. Stairs, we'll definitely need to be careful out there. If you've got salt or sand, you need to be ready to apply that quite a bit. It depends, just like the undergarments. Keybone, I'm not going to be able to make it through this. So Justin's asking, so a tenth versus a glaze. Can you explain? Well, like the glaze on your donuts. That glaze is not very thick. Well, I guess it depends on where you get your donuts. Depends again. But again, just a light coating. Again, that light glaze is enough to cause some travel issues. And then a tenth of an inch on your ruler. I wish I had my ruler around here, but I don't. But again, it's just a little bit thicker, and that's adding more weight on some of those tree limbs, on some of those stairs. It's a little bit thicker, a little bit harder to scrape through as we go through trying to scrape that stuff off. And then you get up to a quarter inch. I mean, that's 1/4 of an inch. That's some really thick ice. You get any sort of wind, which again, wind's going to be anywhere from 10 to 25 miles per hour, gusts to 30. You get the tree limbs that are already starting to sway. It's going to bring things down in a hurry. So glaze, just like the donut, again, just a light layer, just enough to notice that it's slick, but then you can start to see it on the tree limbs, Justin, just a little bit thicker. That starts to add more and more of that weight. So it makes a big difference. It's just a little bit harder to scrape through and a little bit harder to navigate through. Okay. Hopefully that helps just a little bit. So again, these areas right along Krispy Kreme versus Wright's Donuts. There is your perfect Lawton analogy, if I had ever seen one myself. So again, I'd be more concerned again for these areas: McAllister, Durant, Idabel, over towards Ardmore, Sulphur, Davis, all the way over towards Davidson, Granfield, Randelette, Ringling, Ryan, uh, Thackerville. All those areas are going to be seeing a little bit more of this freezing rain to start, especially midday, afternoon, coming up here on your Friday. So again, that's going to be straight ice down here towards the south. Then we start talking about that snow. And I told you we're going to start seeing that transition to sleet snow Friday evening through the overnight. There'll be a bit of a break as we go through late morning, early afternoon on Saturday. And then you start seeing that second round of snow coming back in around dinner time Saturday and not ending until first thing Sunday morning. So I have tweaked things just a little bit. Again, still looking at the heaviest band is pretty much north of Highway 62, Highway 7, north of McAllister, pretty much the entire stretch of I-40, and I-44 heading up into the Tulsa area, I-35 heading Oklahoma City, up past Ponca and Stillwater. So again, I think most of southwest Oklahoma, so we're talking Pauls Valley, Davis, Sulphur, Velma, Duncan, Rush, Lawton, Chattanooga, Geronimo, Walters, Frederick. I'm trying to name them all. Altus, El Dorado, Elmer, Gould, in that 4 to 6 inch range. Again, I think that's solid, but that is on top of what we would see about 1 or 2 inches of sleet. So again, it's a tenth of an inch of ice. Then you've got an inch or two of sleet pellets that are melting and squishing down. And then you're going to get 4 to 6 inches of snow on top of that. And again, some of the snowfall totals we saw in 2009 for Christmas, 2011 in January, February. A lot of those totals were pretty equivalent and pretty much the same. So you're looking at well above your ankle here coming up with the snow, and then you get the wind. You're going to see higher drifts. You're probably going to see 1 to 2 foot drifts in some spots, especially if you get up towards Greer County. So Granite, Mangum, Hobart, Carnegie, Fort Cobb, Cordell, Sentinel, and then getting over towards the Norman, Oklahoma City areas. So again, that area up there, that dark blue area, you really don't want to be driving in that. And pretty much everybody is going to be dealing with some sort of tricky travel troubles. Say that 5 times fast. Tricky travel troubles all across the state of Oklahoma. You could see where we see a bit more of that sleet down here around Love and Carter counties and out into far southeastern Oklahoma. 2 to 4 inches of snow on top of 3 inches of sleet and a 1/4 inch of ice. So again, none of these combinations sound pleasant. The whole state is going to get impacted. Travel is going to be difficult no matter where you try to go. I've had some people message me tonight from Owasso, from McAllister, asking me about what can we expect. People are desperate to find information anywhere, even though I don't really cover that area. I have an idea of what's happening across the state. People are trying to figure out what's going on. Can I get to where I need to go? How's it going to look? I mean, pretty much the entire state, and no matter if you have the glaze of ice and then a few inches of snow, or you've got a foot of snow, all of it's going to be difficult to travel through. And if you don't have to travel after lunchtime tomorrow, I mean, I really hope you don't. It's going to get increasingly more difficult past lunchtime tomorrow. Everything's just going to head straight downhill. It's just going to be brutal. So please, I'm just begging you. I know we've seen the stories back in 2009 where people are having to be rescued by the National Guard off the highways. Please do not let that be you. Please make sure you've got everything that you need to to get you through this stretch. I know the stores have already been picked through. It's going to be hard to get your even delivery here, but keep those folks in mind too. I mean, if you don't want to drive out in it, what makes you think the Spark driver, the DoorDash driver, the pizza delivery guy are going to want to drive through that too? So think of those folks too when you deal with this. If you're not wanting to get out there, don't make anybody else have to venture out into this too. So it's gonna be tough for everybody out there. And what we see, this is not going anywhere anytime soon. Once this is gone by Sunday, we're still cloudy for much of Sunday. We start seeing some sun coming back here, but we're going to deal with what we call refrigeration. You know what happens when you put things in the refrigerator, right? It gets colder. Oh, man, it's like a third world country right now. Yikes. Yes, it's been picked through, and it has looked like it's been picked through for a while. So, but again, this is not going anywhere. So why we stress you need to have things hunker down here. There may be power outages. We're likely to see the roads stay icy all the way through Tuesday. And again, let me show you the temperatures that we're going to have to contend with after this. So again, we've got temperatures that are going to be in the 20s for much of the day. Tomorrow will be in the teens for much of the day, Saturday and Sunday. Let me just straight end this show. Let me hop over to the European model, which is, by the way, been handling this very well from the beginning. I'm taking a look at temperatures. So this is 22nd. I'm trying to remember my days. Don't have my calendar memorized here. So let's get all the way to, I want to show you Monday first. We're going to be, yeah, when I show you that we're going to be living inside a Yeti cooler, it's going to be pretty close to that. So let's get to, we're looking at the morning of the 26th. Okay. And this is my urging. And again, I've told my staff at Starbase here on Fort Sill today, Friday was going to be the wild card on whether, and my lights are going out here. I apologize. Whether uh, Friday was going to be a wild card day on whether we were going to get schools out or businesses closed here. Monday, I felt was going to be the lock. Okay. Even though things are falling Saturday and early Sunday, it's not going anywhere. And then let me show you this. This, again, it's not out of reason. When you have a blanket of snow and you have this polar air mass coming in here, you're going to see lows below zero first thing Monday morning. So again, not just a hard freeze. This is a crippling freeze. So make sure your home is prepared for this. We went out to the front yard and made sure there was a towel around our water meter in the ground. There's rubber mats over it, trying to insulate it the best we can. Got the crawl space all covered up, ready to go. Uh, Again, you're going to have to set the faucets to a straight, steady stream, not just a drip, but a steady stream to really combat this. Open up the doors underneath the sink, especially if you've got the raised foundations or more of the exposed pipes. You've got to be ready for this, or you're going to start seeing things get seized up, frozen very quickly. So again, keep the temperature at a manageable temperature. All try and huddle in one place if you can. Blankets, sweatshirts. Again, just trying to conserve what we can, and make sure you charge up all your batteries tonight. Okay. Make sure everything's charged while we know we have power tonight and most of the day tomorrow. Make sure everything's charged and ready to go in case we do see a bit more ice heading through Friday night into Saturday. That if the power does go out, again, I think it's highly possible across a good chunk of the area that you're ready to go. Okay. But again, temperatures Monday morning are going to be below zero. Wind chill values closer to minus 15, minus 10. So I'm going to say we're probably not going to school here on Monday. Whatever's fallen has not melted. It's all going to be still a solid sheet ice. So again, this is Monday. And then as we go towards Tuesday, so we get towards the 27th, we're still well into the teens and 20s. So if anything did manage to melt in some of the sunshine, it's just going to refreeze in this hard freeze in the teens and 20s. So more ice, and there's the possibility we could see more delays or closures even into Tuesday as well. So these are not official. None of the districts have made a decision for Monday and Tuesday. I'm just here to try and advise them on preparations for next week for their drivers, for their staff, for you as the parent or the business owner. I mean, this is what we're going to be contending with. It's going to be a few days where we're locked into sub-freezing temperatures. So for 96 hours, upwards of 4 days, we're going to see temperatures below freezing, and not just barely below freezing. We're going to be below zero, single digits, teens for a good stretch. So a significant cold spell all the way through here. I'm not expecting temperatures to bounce back above freezing until sometime on Tuesday. And even if temperatures are still below freezing, sunshine does a lot of work too. Again, that sunshine is pretty powerful. So if we see any bit of sunshine, you will still see some melting take place. But with temperatures quite this low, we're still going to see quite a bit of ice heading into Tuesday morning as well. Wednesday, I'm not ready to make that decision, but I think Monday for sure, that's way too cold to be sending anybody, and everything's still going to be a sheet of ice. And then you're still looking at quite a bit of refreezing heading into your Tuesday morning as well. So that's what we're dealing with here, folks. I know you've probably got some questions throughout this time, and hopefully, if you need a little bit more of an explanation of what's going on here, just a quick rundown of what we're expecting here. And again, I apologize for the light. I had one of my background lights didn't charge that. So again, charge your devices so they don't go out in the middle of your shows. Okay. So again, it's going to start wet first thing in the morning. So again, if you're just joining here, trying to rehash everything that we've gone through here, it's going to be wet in the morning. So a light rain, temperatures will start falling. We're going to be falling through the 30s. I really don't expect a lot of the freezing rain to really pick up until late morning, closer to lunchtime. That's where we start seeing the road conditions going downhill. So if you've got to go out, it's got to be first thing in the morning, and then you need to be hunkered down by lunchtime for this to continue to blow in. We'll likely see more of that freezing rain, sleet really ramp up as we head through the drive home and into the evening and overnight hours. And then hopefully we start to see more of a transition from that wintry mix to sleet snow, so that we can get away from just laying a layer of ice on there. Still a 1/4 inch ice around the Red River, and still here around the Lawton area, possibility of seeing about 1/10 of an inch in ice. That's nothing to turn your nose up at, but the thicker the ice, the more likely you are to see those more significant power outages. So I'll be keeping my eye on things. I still have things I have to take care of work-wise from home, since we don't have any students visiting us. But want to make sure you're also getting that information as well. And make sure it's not just from me. You're having several ways of receiving this information. Okay. Get some music and slow jam the weather. The old school 90s, early 2000s Weather Channel tracks. You go search that on YouTube. You can find all that. That's what I came up on. That's why I'm where I'm at. So again, likely to see that sleet and snow continuing through Friday night into Saturday morning. I told you there's going to be a noticeable drop off in either the intensity or just precip at all by mid-morning Saturday all the way through mid to late afternoon on Saturday. And then we see the big final round of snow coming in just to deliver that last knockout punch heading into Saturday night and Sunday morning. And that's going to be a heavy band of snow that comes through here and just adds that extra layer on top. So again, let me come back through here. If you're just joining, I'm going to hop back to my maps real quick, just so you have an idea of what those totals will look like. Again, if you're just joining us here from the current slide, full screen, let's pull this back up again. So there you go. Hollis, Altus, Mangum, Snyder, Cash, Lawton, Elgin, Rush Springs, Norman, over towards Seminole, McAllister, all the way over towards Salisaw. That's going to be about a tenth of an inch of ice. And then areas, uh, Idabel, Broken Bow, Durant, over towards Davis, Ardmore, Marietta, Duncan, Waurika, Walters, Granfield, all those areas expecting possibility of a quarter inch of ice. You're just full of good news. This has been my life for for 16 years, Kyle. I just tell it like it is, and I know people don't like me for it, but swimsuits 75% off at Target. Yes. Davida, you're welcome. Keep him in line for me, please. I appreciate that. And then again, if you're just joining here, let's hop over to the snowfall totals. Still looking at that heaviest snow is I-40 and up into northern Oklahoma. We're still going to lay that groundwork of about an inch or two of sleet here across the kind of medium blue color there from Lawton over to McAllister. And then if you're in the light blue closer to the Red River, you're going to see about 3 inches of sleet before you see 2 to 4 inches of snow on top of that. So again, just adding that slick layer and then the snow on top of it here. So a lot going on, folks. Again, just use common sense. I know you guys know whether you can drive in this stuff or not. Again, if in doubt, just stay home. Again, I hope there's some folks that are just a little bit more understanding of the situation here, a little bit more free to let their folks just decide what's safest for them. I know we get past noon. I want everybody to try and hunker down the best they can. Okay. So, we're going to hunker down here. We're going to make sure we've got everything taken care of, all the warm foods going, all that stuff. Make sure everybody's got everything charged up, ready to go. But hopefully you can do the same here heading into Friday afternoon. And then we'll see what happens Saturday, especially Saturday night and Sunday with more snow. And then right now, I'd prepare yourself for at least Monday and possibly Tuesday, still seeing impacts from this. I think Monday, just from the sheer cold, starting out below zero, that's going to be way too cold. And then Tuesday, with anything that manages to melt from the sun, refreezing with temperatures still in the teens and 20s, still going to see several slick roads. Again, remember, the main roads may be treated and passable, but those neighborhoods, unless they're seeing sunshine, those neighborhood roads are going to be pretty tough here. Kyle Carr, when are we going to get to subscribe for your alerts? So yeah, there's a lot of things going on in the background. I don't want to tip the hand just yet, but there are ways. Wish it was now, but I just don't have that ability right now. Right now, the weather call alerts are more for severe weather rather than the winter weather side of things. But hopefully here in the coming months, there will be multiple ways that you can receive information from me on different devices. And I will just leave it at that. That is all in the works. And hopefully we can get that taken care of. Jerry Rich. Bad visuals. Let's not do that. So I hope everybody stays safe out there. Use common sense. Try and take it easy out there. Cold rain in the morning, freezing rain at lunchtime, declining road conditions through the afternoon, sleet, mixed bag throughout the afternoon, heavy sleet and snow throughout the overnight hours Friday. And then you start to see the next big round of snow coming through Saturday night into Sunday morning. So hope everybody stays safe. If there's any more updates, I will provide updates throughout the event, letting you know where things are changing. Again, let me know what's happening at your house. Okay. Pictures, reports, are you seeing, the sidewalk getting slick? Are you noticing a glaze on your windshield? But be safe when you do it. Okay. I want to share your pictures. I want to help let everybody else know what's taking place all across the area. Again, I've got the one camera, still working on getting a couple more out there. Frederick, Snyder, Altus, Duncan, Lawton, all those are coming your way. Still trying to work with a third party to get this squared away, but just to prove it, there is downtown Walters. Okay. I do have the camera there. Okay. It is there. I am watching. Okay. Pretty quiet now, but we'll be watching this for the changeover heading through tomorrow evening. So that's downtown Walters again. We're getting the camera network established here. Going to be the largest in Western Oklahoma once it's all said and done. So a lot of big things coming up here. Just try to put the blinders up and focus on the short term here. So stay safe, stay warm. I'll provide you updates throughout the event as things change, but otherwise, get ready for the ice, the sleet, and snow coming up for the next couple of days, and then the bone-chilling cold Sunday, Monday, and also into Tuesday. I hope you have a wonderful night. Stay safe, and we'll see you again likely tomorrow. Take care, folks.